This is the Cinematography for Actors podcast.
More than a podcast, CFA is a vibrant community devoted to bridging the gap between talent and crew. Each week, our show offers transparent, insightful conversations with industry leaders. We unveil the magic behind the scenes, from candid discussions about unique filmmaking processes to in-depth technical exploration.
Join us in unraveling the intricacies of filmmaking one episode at a time. It's more than just cameras and lenses over here. We aim to inspire, educate, and empower as we peel back the curtain on the art of effective storytelling.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. As a DP, I know purchasing gear can kind of be a nightmare. Whether you're talent or crew, finding technical solutions to any of your problems can be very challenging. And what's even harder is knowing where to go. So we have an answer for you. Head over to BandPro, one of our incredible sponsors here at CFA. Whether you're looking for high-end cameras and lenses or looking for guidance on what is needed to get started on this equipment journey of yours, BandPro has the gear and team that you need to thrive in your own career.
They are the exclusive representative of Ingenue's complete cinema line for all of North and South America, and their customer support is fantastic. Not only do they have a great team to answer any product question you might have, but they also have a talented team of in-house technicians that you can actually talk to get your equipment back up and running.
Which is really important, especially if you're on set. So,
Yeah.
Bonus. Go to bandpro.com or stop in at their location in Burbank, and please make sure to say hi from CFA because we love them
Hi
so very
from
much.
us.
Yeah, hello. Thanks, everyone. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Cinematography for Actors podcast, live here at AFI FEST for the 27th to the 29th. We are here in the VIP lounge. I am joined with one of my co-hosts, Haley Royal. With me, I'm Indiana Underhill. We have Liam LoPinto, who is our director and writer and producer of The Old Young Crow. Welcome.
Hi. Well, hi.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Liam, for joining us.
It's nice to be here.
We have just watched this film, and I know, Haley, I will let you start because I know you were really stoked to talk about it. And,
I was stoked to talk about it. I want to watch it again because the biggest thing for me after first watch was I realized that the animation is so beautiful that I was so focused on that I forgot to pay attention to the subtitles. So I actually don't know what happened because it was so visually stunning. And I actually wanted to ask you about that. What are some of the, just like the nature and like some of the limitations of doing animation like that with a film that's shot in a different language, with like, what are you thinking about when you're putting that all together?
You're right. It's kind of a mind. It's kind of a. Yeah. I mean, like, plainly, it's just it was not an easy film to do. It was over 6 years period. I shot the initial footage of that in 2016, like the end of 2016, in 2 weekends, about $1,500 budget. Whatever
Wow.
cameras I had with me while I was in Japan. I lived there. Total time I lived in Japan was almost 2 years. And I actually speak better Japanese than I do Farsi, which is crazy, and a dismay to my mom.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, like, when it ended up finishing the film, like, years later, the majority of time was spent on the illustration and animation side. So obviously, I even have the sketchbook actually over there. I was going to show it during the screening.
Wow, yeah.
But like, all of that was basically planned out. And so when I was doing the animation, I was thinking about the visuals. Everything had to kind of come from the sketchbook, and everything had to feel like it organically stemmed from the illustrations that the boy had done.
Yes.
So, it was just kind of imperative that whatever I had to do had to feel, like it was coming from there, whether it was like hand drawn or, any other techniques that we used.
Wow.
Yeah, it pretty much had to
Now,
do that.
Bree, can I have you pass us that bag with we are vodcasting. I would love to
right.
show
I
people
forgot
this one
forgot
one right here.
It's the
yeah.
Porco Rosso one.
Yeah, I would love to be able to show our viewers some of the incredible things they have to look forward to in the film.
Oh, yeah.
Because especially taking place over 6 years, did the story change?
Oh my gosh.
Sure, you can look at this
You
one.
ha- You have it?
Yeah, that was going to show it at the screening. Yeah, it really
Let's
did, actually.
show everyone. Yeah, in our close-up here, let's bring it up. Good.
I think
Yes.
the thing is that the only stuff that I had from the sketchbook like in 2016 was when the boy was just like really scribbling and doodling in there, and it was like kind of incomprehensible drawings. And so yeah, I was really discouraged when we had shot it because number one, there was a whole sketchbook that I hadn't finished. And then, like, number two, all our dialogue and our audio was all corrupted. Like, we didn't have, like,
Oh my God.
so, and the lighting was done by, like, 3 different cinematographers, myself included.
Yes.
So, and I was also 21. I was going through stuff, you know, like, I didn't
Yeah.
really get a chance to, like, really do that film justice. Um, so, yeah, when I went home back to the States, like, I didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So like I didn't know if I was going to be able to cut it or do anything with the film. So obviously when I was doing the animation, I was basically thinking um, like well, I don't have a shot of the crow landing on the grave, so it's like I guess
So
I'll
let's
just
draw it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
basically everything kind of stemmed from that. So if you like look at this shot,
Yes.
like basically I didn't want to take a shot or I didn't want to take like a still of the actual grave and then like Photoshop
Yeah.
it off. I just felt so disrespectful. So I basically just made my own in the sketchbook, and it was pretty much a reverse engineering and like practical way of doing the
Yeah.
animation. Was like I didn't have a shot of the crow moving like this, so
I'll make it into
so
the
I'll make
script
it
that
into
way.
the,
Yeah.
I'll make it into the
Thank you.
sketchbook.
Now, one of the coolest things about watching this, and I think maybe one of the hardest things for the eye for you as a filmmaker, is how particular you must have been about the overhead frame of the sketchbook itself, showing everything off.
Yeah.
With kind of on the table itself with all of the props. How did you design that? How long did it take you? And were you like, no, this should go an inch this way, maybe 30
yeah.
minutes? Yeah.
That was a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
So like I mean we didn't have a production designer on this film.
Mhm.
That was just me.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the roles on this
beautiful.
film. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of
With
fun.
the carpet with like the added in fabric here.
Yeah, that
I
was
love
me, my mom, and my sister working on
wonderful.
that.
So when you're working with an actor doing that, I mean, jumping off of Indy's
Yeah.
question, it's a lot of like hand acting you have
so
to. What
it's
kind
not an actor. Actually, it's my grandfather
Oh my
who's
gosh.
actually doing the film. So he's 96 now. He was like 95 or 94 when
Beautiful.
we shot it. And, you know, he was just like watching Turkish dramas like on the couch. And he'd be like, Babacığım, you come in and film. He's like, whoa. And he just gets up. And he was like, oh. It was very straining for him. He's like in his mid 90s,
Yes.
you know. And so like, there were certain things like turning the lamp on that like took us 2 hours because we had to simultaneously turn on the lights, and I didn't realize that there was an app that could just turn on the lights.
Yeah.
So I figured that out day 2.
Oh.
So then we redid day 2, and he was such a trooper though, and like there was like the part where it was like the candle. You had to blow out the candle. He couldn't blow out the candle, so we all had to blow out the candle
Yeah.
with him. But he was just super patient because I was very like particular about how I wanted the
That's
whole
great.
layout to be, and he was able to work out the timing.
Yeah.
And through trial and error, I was actively editing the film while we were shooting. So I had my laptop right next to it, so we would shoot like a scene. I would edit it into like where I had the animatic,
Yeah.
and then I would just see if it worked or not.
So how did you develop that workflow? Is that something you have a history or experience with, or for this specifically, you were like, that is exactly how I'm going to do it with my laptop beside me here? And
Yeah, it was just a necessity. It was just I'm not an experienced DOP, and that was like my first time like really trying to do something specific like that, and I wanted to make sure that I was doing a good job, so I didn't want to like shoot something and then like after not know that I wasn't able to do it. So it was like all the stuff that I was doing, and then was just added practical
Yeah.
explanations. Like I didn't know if I was gonna be good, so I had to test.
And for the 6 years this film kind of consumed parts of your life,
Mm.
how much of the 6 years was for this film? Would it be like, I'm coming back to it because I'm here now and I'm with this family member, or is it, oh, I can finally have this camera, so I'm going to shoot that? Like, how did you organize? What does that 6 years broken down actually look like?
Yeah, I mean, that could be a whole nother talk too.
Yeah.
But like, I'd say the first year was like a whole year of just like developing that and shooting it, and then each year I kept picking it up, and be like a month, maybe 2 months, I try working on it. No luck. Then after like on the 6th year, finally spent 3 months alone on the sketchbook, and then another 3 or 4 months on the animation specifically. And obviously a lot of it kind of overflowed. Production kind of seeped in with animation seeped in with editing, and I was doing all of that by myself pretty much. And then it got to the point though where it was like too taxing on my body. Like I had like about 6 blisters from doing the pencil
my
paper
course.
animation.
Yeah.
And so then I just was like, I went to my CalArts friends. I was like, guys, I need help.
Yeah.
And then like some people were just able to bail me out in the end because that was the only way this thing was gonna get done. But it was a shoestring kind of thing.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's wonderful that you were able to reach out to your community, your network, to be like, help.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically
people
just my
came in.
family and whatever buddies I had that could hop on. So
Got it.
That's fantastic.
Now, as a filmmaker, with The Old Young Crow, what are you hoping the audience's biggest takeaways are for this film?
yeah, I mean, like currently, if you think about our climate in terms of what's going to probably happen within the next couple months, there's going to be a huge refugee crisis, most likely. Similar stories, there's going to be a lot of little merdads in the world that are going to either have to go to a place or going to be in a camp or something like else. And you're just going to have a lot of young kids trying to reclaim their own culture in another land. And so I think it's just important to know that that's possible, and that I would like to be able to facilitate more situations where kids can grow up to be as old as he does in the film, looking back in his life.
Yeah.
And I feel like every kid deserves that.
Yeah. One of my favorite, before we wrap it up, one of my favorite short films that actually got me into film as a DP was Each Moment is the Universe. That was on like Short of the Week. And it was all about someone looking back on their life and what they had done and evaluating that. And so stories like that are just so powerful. And I think no matter what culture you're from, you can resonate with it and apply yourself into that image. And so whether they're applying themselves into the sketchbook or into the visuals that you've created, I know that there's going to be some amazing takeaways. So thank you, Liam, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This is very
Yes.
nice. It was
And-
always cool to do something like
And
that.
today you're in an hour? Are you in an hour? Or is it? Yeah. Okay, cool. So today at 4:30 p.m. you can catch The Old Young Crow at AFI FEST, and Liam will be showing off the sketchbook after.
Yeah, everyone wants to see it.
Highly recommend that
Yeah.
you get to that screening if you
Yes.
can.
Exactly. And if you can find Liam, get him to show you this because it's pretty incredible.
Very cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks,
Thank you
Leah.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Join us in bridging the gap between talent and crew. Start by subscribing on your preferred podcast platform. Sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date on vendor discounts, community events, new podcast releases, and you can educate yourself through our free course releases on YouTube.
It all starts at cinematographyforactors.com. And if you like this episode, consider leaving a review to make it easier for fine folks just like yourself to find us. We have some super exciting news. CFA has teamed up with We Make Movies to offer you a discount on production management services, including access to comprehensive production insurance, workers' comp for your next shoot. All you have to do is visit wemakemovies.com/insurance and use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote.
Also, we've just partnered with We Audition, which I'm sure you know I'm very excited about, to offer you 25% off your membership. Use code CFA25 to get that membership for only $7.50 a month or $75 a year.